All right, gentlemen, for this one right here, we are talking about the Bulwark, and we are going to get into our Power Sword 7.0 definitive guide here. So we have a very important class perk that we're changing up that we'll get into in a second, and we're going to get into our secondaries, and then we'll take a look at the Power Sword itself, and we are running this with the fencing version, by far the superior version of the Power Sword in my opinion. And first up, what is the main thing we are changing on the class is we are moving over to Armored Advance. So we are moving over to Armored Advance because of this right here is going to supply a bunch of knockback resistance for your shield as long as you have armor up. So as you've seen, I got hit by a sniper shot. I got hit by the energy blast from the Neothrope, and none of this stuff is causing me any knockback at all. So it's not just these two attacks either. It is plenty of attacks, and it's not just ranged. It is also melee attacks as well that will react this way as long as you have do not lose control to heavy hits, which Armored Advance is going to give us. Now, this is not going to make you indestructible. You're still going to have to parry. You're still going to have to dodge. But, I mean, overall, throughout the operation, you're probably blocking like, I don't know, 30 to 40% more of the stuff that would normally knock you back. It is a big amount. It's a big amount on both sides, on Tyranid and Chaos. So you just really have to go through the operations, and then you're really going to see how much more stuff that you're going to be able to block with your shield and not get knocked back. So remember, Armored Advance, I am recommending switching over to this. You are going to lose some damage, but honestly, you're not going to lose that much damage compared to how much Armored Advance is going to help. And another way that it helps, besides the obvious, you will not suffer knockbacks yourself. And then, as I said, with your shield. And then when you're not suffering knockbacks with your shield, you can really use it for longer periods of time and gain masterful defense even quicker. So that's why I find those two sync very well together. And as I said, knockback is so important in the game. It is a lot of the times the reason that you die. So as long as you have armor up, you're going to be able to block with your shield in the way we just showed you. And then as well as you're just going to have knockback in general. So it's any kind of knockback, really. So even if you have Merciless Resolve, this will also act the same way, but you have to activate it every 10 seconds. So that's why I find Armored Advance is just, far superior to Merciless Resolve. You have armor a lot throughout your playthrough, and as long as you have armor, you're going to have knockback. So let's get into our Prestige perk since we got that one out of the way. So it's the first three. The fourth one, for the Bulwark, I'm always saying you can kind of choose what you think is best. All right, so for the top three that you are taking, for sure, I would say 100% of times on this class is going to be Overcharge, it is going to be Masterful Defense, and it is going to be Powerful Shot. So those are three that I'm saying 100% of the time, no matter what build you're in, you're grabbing those three on the Bulwark. This one you can switch out, but if you want my build right here, it is Standard Bearer that I take. Activating your banner will give you that invulnerability for 2 seconds. So we'll look at our normal. It's a lot of the normal suspects that are on our list here. We got Intimidating Aura, huge amounts of damage, you guys already know. Armor of Contempt. I do suggest switching over to this. It is a ton of damage that you do from doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just blocking attacks, and you can just wipe out miners around you. And if it's like the machine gun, or the rapid fire majors on like Tyranids and stuff, this works very, very well against them, and those guys are very annoying, and they are a reason for a lot of people's deaths. So Armor of Contempt, very, very good, guys. And then we have Defensive Advantage. We have our 50% slower contested health, Period of Purpose to grab our extra damage from our banner. Huge amount of damage that does now, you guys know. This one, I would say a preference thing. If you are having problems with survivability, you go with Invigorating Icon. And if you are not, Glory Shield is a very, very good one as well. So I would say the more skilled you get, the easier Absolute starts to feel to you. That is when you're going to want to just switch over to Glory Shield, because it is going to give you overall more damage throughout your playthrough, because you're going to be able to get your banner up a lot more. It's going to stay up a lot longer, and different things like that. Glory Shield is a very good perk. But for, I would say, the majority of the player base, Invigorating Icon is going to be the way to go. And then we have Inspiration for your all squad members to deal 20% more damage. And as we just talked about, Armored Advance, I do recommend at least trying this one out, guys, and seeing how it performs for you and if it helps you as much as it did me throughout your playthroughs. Okay, when we are looking at our power sword, as I said, we are running this in the fencing version, and for sure, I am recommending people always take cutting edge. Now, power rake has seen such an a jump in base damage that this 50% makes a huge difference onto the attack. And just overall, with the power sword, you are going to want to work in your power rakes really as often as you can. Always remember that you can double power rake when you have the opportunity to do so. So just remember, power rakes, they're very strong right now. So always mix them in with your speed style attacks. And then just overall, we're picking up a ton of base damage against a ton of different kind of enemies. So when we have armor, we're going to have the 10% there, another 10 here, so that's 20, and 30%. So when we have armor, we'll have 30% base, and when we don't, we'll have 20% base damage. And then we are picking up our power rake, as I said before, and then just extreme amount of damages to all the different enemies that there are. So I suggest this route right here. If you are struggling maybe with some kind of survivability, you could go with whatever one you're using more here. If you're using speed style, if you're using power attack more, you would switch that. And then I would probably drop the 20% to the miners to pick up one of these. But this is my recommended route right here, and which I felt just felt the strongest overall throughout my playthrough. And then we will take a quick look at our heavy bolt pistol right here. We're going all headshot damages, and then we are going to throw the extra ammo on there. So it's all the top row. Very similar how I like to spec this thing out. I think it has great headshot damage, and then, you know, being able to throw on it, what is it, 40% extra headshot damage. It's going to help you with neothropes and just, you know, majors, anything you can hit in the head for sure. But it's a good gun. Huge addition to the class, as we've discussed before. All right, and when it's coming to our plasma pistol here, we are taking advantage of these new 60% extra ammo you can get, which is an extremely high amount of ammo. I think it's like 210 that you're going to start with. And then we will also grab our damage radiuses to help us really get... you can really group up some majors and honestly get double to triple executes on majors as long as you got this radius up. So very strong weapon overall. If I'm going peak performance with the Bulwark, I am personally going to go with the heavy bolt pistol. I find this one to be the best just overall throughout an operation. You know, like efficiency wise, I find this one to be the best secondary in the game. So overall, when it's coming to the power sword for the Bulwark after patch, it wasn't really after patch 7.0. I think it was what, patch 7.1. When they really up the power rake and the power whirl for your the damage on those things, that is when the power sword finally felt like where it was nearly at the beginning of the game. It feels like a high top tier weapon. For me, it is my favorite fencing weapon in the game. I find it, you know, I find it to be the overall best fencing weapon with all the different things that it has in its toolkit. So very strong right now. Fantastic choice for the Bulwark. He really has every single choice he has right now at melee feels really good. The power sword, it feels right at home. And like I said, just make sure you're working in your power rakes. If you weren't, like, because they weren't as important before because the damage wasn't as effective. But now with this damage bonus they added to it, and then adding your 50% onto the power rake, it's a very noticeable thing. And you could execute major enemies much quicker if you are trying to work in your power rakes. So definitely try to do that, guys. But that is going to be it for this video. Ton of fun running this build right here, but I will catch you on the next one.